Okay, so I think everybody's here already. Today's webinar will be about CNI solutions for energy storage with SolaX and Deye. First, we will begin with SolaX. It's a bit longer, so if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to ask. You don't have to wait for the end to ask your questions, just write in the comments, and I will answer it during the presentation. So go ahead. So our first product is from SolaX, the new AELIO. This specific ESS is DC coupled. So you have a hybrid 50 kilowatt inverter on the side, as you can see on the picture. There are two versions from it, a 100 kilowatt hour battery and 200 kilowatt hour battery with a 50 or a 60 kilowatt hybrid inverter on the side. So you can achieve 2 Cs charging and discharging, and it's air cooled for now. It's already available to order from August, and there will be an updated version of the 200 kilowatt hour. It's gonna be available in the Q4, which will be water cooled. So as you can see on the picture, the configurations, for the naming, for the first picture, the P50B100, P50 means it has a 50 kilowatt inverter on the side, and the B100 is the 100 kilowatt hour capacity that it refers to. So on the next picture with B200, it's with a 200 kilowatt hour capacity. So you can combine them without any other devices, like here on the pictures, even the smaller one with the bigger one. So you can connect multiple devices with just one inverter to have a larger battery capacity. And yeah, just to this picture, you can connect 10 pieces with inverter together in parallel. So you can reach almost 1 megawatt hour battery capacity and 500 kilowatt hour AC power. The other one is the TRENE. It's AC coupled, so you doesn't have an inverter in it because you can connect it to the AC grid. And you have a PCS inside the ESS. So there are two versions from it. The 215 kilowatt hour, it's air-cooled version. And then the 250 kilowatt hour, it's with liquid cooling. And here, the liquid cooling will be available later this year, in the Q4 probably. So then you can order it from us, and you can already order the air-cooled version. So these two are from the TRENE. Both have a PCS inside it, but we will check it here. Yeah. So the difference between the AELIO and the TRENE is that the AELIO really has a hybrid inverter on the side. So you can connect directly the DC strings to this hybrid inverter, and you have 5 or 6 MPPTs, depends on if it's 50 or 60 kilowatt inverter, each MPPT with 2 strings. So in total, you can connect 10 or 12 PV strings to the inverter. It also have the 200% PV oversizing, which is a known fact for the ultra versions of the hybrid inverters, which we will discuss later on the pictures. And because it's a hybrid inverter, it also has the EPS port and the EPS function. So if there is a grid outage, you can switch to off-grid mode within 10 milliseconds. So you won't notice a single flashing on the lights because you will have uninterrupted power supply. Meanwhile, on the TRENE, because it's AC coupled, you have a PCS inside it, which is 100 kilowatt PCS. It can also work in off-grid mode, but it doesn't have the EPS function. So you can have like a standalone off-grid system with the TRENE, and yeah, you can also connect it to the grid or work in off-grid. And it's EP20, so you have to place it inside. The overview of the AELIO is kind of similar to the rest, because you can see if you open the front doors, you can see the battery packs. Each battery pack is around 14 kilowatt hour, and in the middle you have the BMS. You have fire protection on the top and the energy management system too. On the side you can see the hybrid inverter where you can connect the DCs, the AC cables, the communications. You have the junction box and an electrical box inside the cabinet. And when you order this kind of ESS and when you get it delivered to your site, it will be already pre-assembled, so you don't have to connect any kind of cables inside the battery. You just have to install the PV connections to the inverter and do the electrical wiring to the junction boxes. So it's really easy to install and saves you a lot of time and money. Here are some deeper specifics about the AELIO. You can have many scenarios where you can use it. You can connect it to a microgrid. You can connect string inverters to the EPS side. We will check it later. You can connect 5 pieces together to reach 1 megawatt hour of capacity. And yeah, air cooling with fire protection we will mention later deeper. And yeah, with air cooling you have the cell temperature difference less than 10 degrees Celsius, so it's really just a few degrees. And the inverter, I think we already talked about the inverter. It's good to mention that these kind of inverter have dual battery ports. So if you have an expandable version of the AELIO, you can just connect it to the second DC battery port, and you don't have to have another battery inverter to be able to work it together. For the TRENE, the AC coupled version, it's kind of similar, but you know, there's a PCS instead of the inverter. So apart of that, the batteries, you see it's the same, fire protection also integrated, EMS also on the top, BMS in the middle, electrical connections on the bottom right corner, and then on the PCS is the upper right corner. So this is for the air cooling version. And for the liquid cooling version, actually you can see it from the naming of the product, because when you check ESS TRENE and P100 and P125, it refers to the AC power that it can give you, and the B215 and the 261 is the capacity of the battery, and the I and the L refers to I as the air cooling version and L is the liquid cooling version. But you can already see it on the picture on the right that you have liquid cooling cells. It's much more effective than the air-cooled version. For the TRENE, you have a different battery cell capacity compared to the air-cooled version. It can also be expanded to 1 megawatt-hour capacity in total to have multiple pieces. And for the PCS, you can have 150 to 55 kilowatt maximum AC output, and that you can reach 10% more in peak version. So it will be 137.5 kilowatt. And yeah, in order to use the liquid cool, that will be for the fire suppression. But for the liquid cooling maintenance, you should check the coolant level like 1 or 2 times a year if it's high enough to maintain the cooling. So for the capacity overview, you can see here like a summary. From the AELIO is the blue colors, and for AELIO is the yellow, and BOS is the blue. So you can connect 10 units in parallel maximum together. You have phase unbalance for each of them, but they differ because for the AELIO, for the DC coupled, you have the same phase asymmetric as the G4 version, the hybrid. So for the AELIO, the phase asymmetric is 50% of the nominal. So for one phase, let's say we have a 50 kilowatt inverter for the AELIO, and with that, you can supply 25 kilowatt of power into one phase and then divide the rest on the two. So for the AELIO, you can have this kind of asymmetric, just like for the G4 versions of the hybrid inverters, and for the TRENE, you have the same unbalanced output as the Ultra. So 1/3 of the nominal capacity, 1/3 of the nominal power can go to one phase. Fire resistance, we will talk about. On our installation, it's really easy on site because you have all the cables pre-installed already. You just have to connect external cables. Local data retention up to 1 year. It means like if you don't connect it to the cloud and you have it just installed and you connect yourself later to the system of the ESS, you can see all the data that it's recorded for the past 1 year, and it always keep refreshing itself. So even if you don't have cloud connection, you can still see the data of the working data for 1 year. Yeah, there are many scenarios where you can use it, like microgrid on islands where you don't have any AC power, farms where you can have frequent outages, charging stations, factories, malls. It's suitable for almost every kind of installation. Some of the key features we will talk about. I think the most advanced key feature is the oversizing of the PV, because it can support you 200% of PV oversizing with the AELIO. So that means if you have a 50 kilowatt inverter connected, and if you connect 100 kilowatt of PV panels, you can charge the batteries with, just like here on the first picture, you can, okay, the first limit would be to supply the loads that you need with 50 kilowatt of power, but then with the 110% oversizing of the AC, you can supply the loads with 55 kilowatt, and then with the rest of the 50, you can charge it in the battery. So actually you can use 100 kilowatt PV in the same time with just a 50 kilowatt inverter. So I think this is really important if you want to overscale a bit your project compared to other batteries and ESS that cannot support 200% oversizing, because then you waste a lot of PV energy that you could store or supply to your loads. It's also have the EPS function, the AELIO, which we talked about. So if you have a power outage, it can switch between 10 milliseconds to off-grid mode. And also, if you have an older system or you already have a PV system, you can just connect those old inverters, like string inverters, to the EPS side. And then you can harvest those energy to supply the loads or charge the batteries. And also you can connect a diesel generator to this grid in order to have more power. Let's say when your batteries are almost discharged and you're in the night and you need some extra electricity, you can use the diesel generator. About the safety features of both the TRENE and AELIO, it's called the 4+1 safety, because as you can see on the picture, there are many sensors inside the battery cabinet, which monitors all kinds of data real time. And if there's something goes wrong inside the cabinet, the first level will be that the sensors measure some abnormal volumes, like resistance, temperature rising, voltage or current mismatches. And then it will give you an alarm for the monitoring site, or give you an email or send you an SMS that you have some kind of problem with the battery. And if the battery still have this failure for longer time, then because the second level of the safety will come to life, and it will physically switch off the breakers inside the cabinet. So the first step would be to switch the rack to off, and then to the PCS, and then the combiner, it will be switched to off, so you won't be able to use its energy. It will stop working. So it will automatically turn off itself. And then if it's still not enough, then comes the third level, which is the aerosol and water spray inside the cabinet. So if there is still smoke or heat or CO sensors triggering an alarm, and even the braking did not solve the problem, it will trigger the aerosol and the water spray inside the cabinet in order to suppress the fire or suppress the smoke or the overheating. For that, you must have a fire hydrant connected to the ESS in order to have a water supply for the spraying. So that's the third level. And the fourth level is if it's still not enough and you still have fire inside the ESS, the whole shell is designed to hold the fire inside the cabinet for 1.5 hours. This is because obviously if you cannot suppress the fire within the battery, within the ESS, you will call the firefighters to come on site and do their job. And yeah, that's why it has a 1.5 hour fire resistance to prevent the fire to let go for the other devices you have near the ESS. So yeah, that's the 4, and the +1 is a small and smart thing inside the battery pack, because in each battery pack you have also have you many sensors like temperature sensors, and you have an aerosol inside the battery pack. So if it's just one battery pack overheats or have some kind of failure that can lead to fire or something dangerous, then it can suppress itself within the battery pack. So it is more sophisticated to just suppress one battery pack, then the rest can still work. And going back to the previous case, if you have fire inside the battery and it's not caused by any external physical things like you put something to it or you didn't met the requirements of the installing, so it's some kind of factory failure, then the SolaX will replace the whole battery for you, so you don't have to worry about buying a new battery at all. From the key features, I think the intelligent energy management is one of the most important ones, because just on the residential systems with hybrid inverters, you can set like self-use, and then the inverter will automatically distribute the power from the PV to either the loads or to the battery or feedback to the grid. This can be achieved here too, but with the smart schedule. So the ESS have an AI integrated, and it can monitor all kinds of environmental data in order to override the self-consumption mode. So if you, let's say, use the battery during the day and there will be a rain and the AI will know it, you will have a rain on your site, it can stop discharging from the battery and hold its power for the rainy times when you won't have enough PV in order to use the ESS in the rainy conditions. And also you can set many kind of smart skins like here. Sorry. So you can set many conditions, like when these conditions are met, then the battery will do something that you preset to them. So for example, here on the picture, if you set something like if condition is set at 2 a.m. and the weather forecast predicts rain within the next 8 hours, then you can set to charge the batteries or discharge the batteries or do whatever you want with the batteries. And you can do it on the SolaX cloud monitoring platform. You can set many ifs and many thens. So it's like a logical line that you can set yourself to met several conditions and then to what you would like to do with the energy from the battery. Operation and management. Yeah, from the cloud, everything's very easy to monitor it, to upgrade it, to like have remote help from SolaX, from us. We can do any kind of support for you if you have connected to the cloud. You can also control the ESS from your phone, like what do you want to do with the energy. In the SolaX cloud, you can see each battery cell separately for your system. You can have 10 sec real-time data refresh, and I think you can upgrade it to 1 sec real-time data for several plants and for several occasions. And yeah, you can really like monitor your whole site from your phone, and it's all on one place. You don't have to switch to other applications, go to other websites. It's all in one. Application system, a few wiring diagrams just to show you how you can use them. The first one is about the common loads. So when you have like two pieces of the TRENE from the AELIO, sorry, and you have PV connected to the inverter, you can connect EPS loads and the common loads. Now for both of the ESS, for the AELIO and TRENE, you need the meter with CT. So you cannot use just the CTs as like for the G4 version of the hybrids or for the Ultra. You need the meter and the CT too in order to work together with the grid. And in this case, normally the battery gives power to the loads when we have the grid connected, and also to the EPS loads. And when we have a power outage of the grid and the grid disconnects, we can still supply the EPS loads uninterruptedly with 10 millisecond of switching time until the battery is discharged or we don't have any PV left. So that's the first and most easy installation solution. And for the parallel connection, when you have several AELIOs connected together with several hybrid inverters, there is a parallel connection box, which is still not available, but it will be available soon. This is in the middle, just the white box. So you can connect multiple inverters together with multiple batteries connected to it. And then it would work as the same way as previously. So you can connect EPS loads to it and then have a higher AC output power to supply these EPS loads, and also a higher capacity from the ESS side to supply these loads. And also when you have the grid, you can support the common loads on the grid side, and if needed, you can feed back electricity to the grid. And for this scenario, you also need the meter with CTs. So not just the CTs, also the meter. And the third solution is with the microgrid solution. So that's what I mentioned. If you have an old inverter system or string inverters and you would like to use these energy to supply your load or feedback electricity to the grid, you can connect these string inverters to the inverter's EPS side. And then even if you have an off-grid solution or a grid outage, it will switch to EPS mode. And then in this case, you will need to use two separate meters with their own CTs. The first one would be to monitor the grid, if it's have electricity or not. And the second one is to monitor the microgrid PV generation. So in this case, you can also harvest the PV power from the old string inverters and your own old whatever inverters you have installed, and you can supply even the EPS loads in a power outage situation. And also, of course, you can have a diesel generator installed with the EMS. So in this case, all of the connections will go to the EMS, and then the EMS will decide and control all of the power generation and distributions. I see someone is typing. What is CT? CT is current transformer. So it's the meter, you know, for the meter, you wire the three phases and the zero, and it measures the voltage on the three phases. And the CT is like, it's a current transformer that you can connect to the lines, each line, and it will measure the amps going through the lines. So with the voltages and the currents, you will have the power for each phase. You're welcome. Okay, and if we switch to Deye, if you have any questions still about SolaX, just go ahead. Deye, I think it will be a bit shorter. Starting with the roadmap, For us in European countries, what we really will looking forward is the fifth series of the low voltage hybrid inverters, which will be ranging from 12 to 50 from 20 kilowatt, and the new 80 kilowatt hour hybrid high voltage, which will be the big brother of the 50 kilowatt high voltage hybrid. It will be available around the end of summer. So this is the current 50 kilowatt hybrid, which is suitable for CNI solutions, and the 80 kilowatt will be the replacement for this one. It's also 50 kilowatt, 50% ambulance. So for the 50 kilowatt, you can reach 25 kilowatt peak power on a single phase in off-grid mode or in the grid mode. It also has the EPS function, so you can have an EPS load connected to the inverter, and it will switch in between the sinus waves, so you won't notice the grid goes off. And for this kind of inverter and for this new generation, we have the BOS-A batteries, which are roughly 7.7 kilowatt hour per piece. In total, you have here 15 kilowatt, 15 pieces. So 15 pieces. It's an indoor installation, so you have to install it within the house or where you install it, the factory. It's easy to install, easy to extend later if you would like to. You can reach a maximum. This one is installed. It's a 100 kilowatt hour capacity altogether, combined with a 50 kilowatt or later an 80 kilowatt hybrid inverter. From the CNI solutions of Deye, the GE-F60 is a DC coupled hybrid inverter with the battery. You have a 50 kilowatt hybrid inverter on the side and 60 kilowatt hour capacity of batteries. The batteries and the inverter is also included in the package, so it comes like this on the picture. The batteries are also pre-wired inside the cabinet, so you just have to install the inverter on the side and connect the DCs and the AC cables to the inverter and from the inverter to the cabinet. You can connect 6 pieces of the batteries to one single inverter. So in a total, you can order it with a 60 or a 50 kilowatt hybrid inverter. So in total, you can reach, for one inverter, you can reach 360 kilowatt hour of capacity. And if not enough, then we will see the expansion later. So each battery module is 5.12 kilowatt hour pieces. You have 12 of these inside one cabinet, and the maximum usable energy is roughly 55 kilowatt hour. Working temperature is the same as for all kinds of the Deye batteries, like charging from 0 to 55 and discharging from -20 to 55. It's EP55, so you can place it outside. And here are the expansions of one single inverter on the top side. So when you have just one inverter connected to the battery and it's enough for you for the AC power, you can connect 6 pieces. So you would have 60 kilowatt AC power and 360 kilowatt hour battery capacity maximum. But if you would like to expand the AC power of the batteries too for the whole system, you can connect 10 pieces of these GE-F60 together, then you would have 0.5 megawatt of AC power and 600 kilowatt hour of battery capacity. So this way you can reach larger AC output and also expand the capacities you have for the ESS. And no extra devices needed to connect them in series. So you can just wire them together from inverter to inverter. Here you have the whole system. Air conditioner on the front door. You have also smoke detector, heat detector. You have the fire suppression inside, aerosol also, and heat detectors. So you have all the safety features. And from the back, you have all the electrical connections. You don't have to connect internally any AC cables, just from the inverter to the rack. And yeah, you have the monitoring, same as the hybrid system. So as used to the Deye Cloud, you can monitor this whole system too, remotely, of course. And for the bigger versions, we have the GE-F120. It also comes with a 50 kilowatt hybrid inverter, but double the size of the batteries. So instead of 60 kilowatt hour battery, you have 120 kilowatt hour batteries. It has almost the same features as the GE-F60, like the previous one. But here you can see you have 50 kilowatt nominal output power and also the UPS power, because the inverter has a UPS port. So you can directly connect the PV cables to this inverter, and then you can connect the grid and the EPS loads separately. It can also work in off-grid mode. Also, you can connect 10 of these in parallel. Also EP 55 and 10 years warranty, which is really a lot to consider, because 10 years is a lot for this kind of big CNI solutions. And for the PV side of the inverter, you can connect maximum 65 kilowatt, 55 kilowatt peak of DC power. You have 4 MPPTs, each with 36 amps of PV input current, and it is a higher MPPT voltage range than the low voltage ones, because low voltage ones kind of stops at 650, and with this one you can reach 850 volts DC. So yeah, you can connect longer strings to this kind of hybrid 50 kilowatt inverter, and just like as used to for the residential ones, you can reach 1.5 times of rated power for 10 seconds if you have, let's say, a diesel like a 3-phase motor you would like to start, and it needs higher power than the 50 kilowatt. It can supply you 1.5 times, so it can give you 75 kilowatt for 10 seconds from the AC side. And if we jump one scale higher for the AC coupled, because these were both DC coupled batteries, because you had the inverter on the side, this one is an AC coupled 215 and 230 kilowatt hour battery. You have the PCS 100 kilowatt PCS inside. It's also IP55. And here are the infos about the parameters. So you have 100 kilowatt PCS inside, so you can connect the AC cable It's also 3-phase 4-wire connection in 400 volt AC, so the regular like low voltage AC grid, not the high voltage like the 800. It can work from -20 to 45 degrees because it's AC coupled. IP rating IP54. Also 10 years of warranty, and you can connect 12 pieces together to have a larger capacity and a larger AC output. That's over 1 megawatt of AC and 2 megawatt of ESS capacity. So this is the AC coupled ESS. So for this one, you can have a separate PV system. Doesn't have to be Deye. It can be anything because it can connect to the grid on the AC side. And no matter what batteries or PV system or inverters you already have installed, if you connect this on the AC side, you can still harvest energy from the grid and supply it back when it's needed for the loads. Yes, and if you have any questions about any kind of these products, you can ask now if you didn't ask already. Yeah, any questions? This whole webinar and presentation will be uploaded to YouTube, so you will be able to watch it again, or if you have any questions, feel free to contact us and we will solve it. For Deye inverters, the warranty is 10 years. Yeah, basically it was 5 years basic and then 5 years extra, but for us, if you buy the inverter from us, we managed to get 10 years basic from the factory, so you don't have to do any single extra to have that one extra 5 year. It's basic 10 year from us. You're welcome, Adrian. Can you overload the Deye inverter similar to SolaX? If so, by how much? Actually, you can't. You can only oversize them with 110%. So it cannot give you, let's say for the 50 kilowatt inverter, you cannot charge the batteries with 50 kilowatt and then feed back 50 kilowatt AC to the grid. So that's only for SolaX to be able to have that function. You're welcome, Cornel. So thanks, guys, for coming. Hope to see you in the next one. And if you have any inquiries or orders, contact your wholesales guys. We have everything on warehouse, so feel free to have a look. And yeah, see you in September when we will have our partner day in our showroom. So see you there. Thanks for the attention, guys. Goodbye.